welcome. You're watching Kanksha Spur. Minister Amit major demographic in Jharkhand. Chief Minister that the rechange is taking place in West, a state by TMC in India bloc and the JM. Soren also said that there in the demography. Such claims are only communal harmony into Soren's state. He has now said made by the Home Minister Amit Shah is and was even the Jharkhand High. BJP Soren's state likes the disunity within the India bloc as one ally keeps targeting the other. Congress, on the other hand, has come out in support of Hemant Soren, saying that the Chief Minister is aware of the state's demography and accused BJP of trying to harm communal harmony. But facts don't lie. And going by census figures, the tribal population in Jharkhand has been dipping on an alarming rate, particularly in Santhal Parganas. At a time when Jharkhand Assembly elections are around the corner and the demographic shift in Jharkhand is already grabbing headlines, can the Bharatiya Janata Party turn these concerns into electoral gains with yet another India bloc versus India bloc situation? Well, that is something we will be deep diving into, but India's borders with Bangladesh are also extremely porous. And that's not a secret, but since the turmoil in the country, the fear of immigrants entering illegally has also grown to a large extent. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah in the recent past have raised this issue of rampant infiltration causing demographic changes in the state of Jharkhand. And my colleague Anvit Srivastav has travelled to the border for a reality check. For the first time on national television, we bring you the biggest proof of border exodus. Watch this eye-opening investigation by CNN-News18.
আমরা অনেক গরিব মানুষ তাই আসছি কাজের জন্য আমাদের ওখানে কাজ নেই তাই এখানে কাজ করতে আসছি
अभी कैसा हालत है बांग्लादेश में जहाँ आपका गांव है
অনেক খারাপ কোনো কাজ টাজ নেই সব ভেঙে ঠেঙে ফেলছে কাজ মাজ নাই সবার বাড়ি ঘর ভাঙছে বোম মারছে গুলি করছে
मैंने बोला मेरे पास तो वीज़ा नहीं है मैं इंडिया जाना चाहता हूँ मेरा बेटी और बीवी जा रहे तो बोला मैं तुमको भेज दूंगा 15,000 बांग्लादेशी टाका देना पड़ेगा अभी जिंदा रहने के लिए किधर जाएगा बांग्लादेश में रहेगा तो पकड़ लेगा वो सभी लोग इसीलिए इंडिया चला रहे
These testimonies never heard before on television epitomize the desperation of Bangladeshis to cross over into India. Since Sheikh Hasina's exit on August 5, the political turmoil in our neighbor country has raised fears of a mass exodus into India. Many rushed to the borders hoping for safety and a better livelihood.
यहाँ पे आप कैसे आई किसको आपने संपर्क किया कौन आपको यहाँ पर लेकर आया कितना पैसा दिया पूरा बताएंगे एक बार कैसे
দালালের মাধ্যমে আসছে দালাল নিয়ে আসছে নদী পার করে সাতরায় আসছে ওখান থেকে সাতরায় বেলিতি করে নিয়ে আসছে কলা গাছের ভেলাই করে ডুবে নিয়ে এসে এখান থেকে এসে এই পারে যখন আসছি তখন বিএসএফে ধরছে ধরে তারপরে এখানে নিয়ে আসছে দালালের নামটা আমি কিছু জানি না
और उसको कितना पैसा दिया जो लेकर आया
10,000
वो जो एजेंट था जो टाउट आपको लेकर आया जिसने 10,000 रुपये मांगे आपसे वो आपको कहाँ मिला था
इमो
पे तो इमो पे कैसे संपर्क हुआ कैसे बातचीत हुई
मोबाइले কথা হইছে
मोबाइल से तो अभी तो जैसे अभी पकड़े गए तो अब क्या लग रहा है अब क्या होगा आगे
জানি না আমি জেলে দিয়ে দিবে জানি না
जब आप बांग्लादेश से इंडिया आ रहे थे तो कहाँ से आपका सफ़र शुरू हुआ
मैं इधर बेनापोल बॉर्डर में आया था उधर से मेरा बीवी और बेटी दोनों पासपोर्ट दे के वीज़ा लेके इंडिया में आया उधर वो जो दुकान था ना उधर से मैंने बोला मेरे पास तो वीज़ा नहीं है मैं इंडिया जाना चाहता हूँ मेरा बेटी और बीवी जा रहे तो बोला मैं तुमको भेज दूंगा 15,000 बांग्लादेशी टाका देना पड़ेगा वो तो दुकानदार है
फिर वो आपको
लेके ऑटो में इधर लेके आया 1 बजे फिर उधर बैठा रहा शाम तक फिर मेरे को बोला इधर से वो पार करके जाना है नदी
तो जिसको तैरना नहीं आता उसको कैसे लगाया
उसको थोड़ा पॉट है ना ऑयल का पॉट वो पॉट इधर बैठा के फिर लेके आया
अच्छा
हाँ
तो कितने लोग आए थे
14-15 होगा मैंने
कितना
औरत तो दो ही देखा, एक ही पकड़ गया और एक था।
बच्चे भी थे?
नहीं, बच्चा नहीं था।
तो अभी आप लोग जैसे 15 लोग एक साथ आए,
हाँ।
तो अभी क्या बहुत सारा लोग आ रहे हैं बांग्लादेश से?
हाँ, बहुत सारे लोग आ रहे हैं क्योंकि बांग्लादेश में बहुत सारा प्रॉब्लम चल रही है अभी।
अच्छा।
अभी उधर वो गवर्नमेंट उधर चेंज हो गया, इसीलिए उधर जो हिंदू लोग, हाँ, उधर जो हिंदू लोग हैं ना, वो लोगों को थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, और जो पॉलिटिशियन है, जो पॉलिटिक्स कर रहे हैं, उन लोगों को भी प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है। इसीलिए सभी लोग अभी जिंदा रहने के लिए किधर जाएगा, बांग्लादेश में रहेगा तो पकड़ लेगा वो सभी लोग, इसीलिए इंडिया चला रहे हैं।
There seems to be a rise since August this year, but Bangladeshis illegally crossing into India is not a new phenomena. Ever wondered why many house helps, drivers, laborers often speak in a tongue that sounds more Bangladeshi than Bengali?
আমরা অনেক গরিব মানুষ, তাই আসছি কাজের জন্য। আমাদের ওখানে কাজ নেই, তাই এখানে কাজ করতে আসছি।
तो कहाँ जाने का था आपको? इंडिया आके क्या काम करना है और कहाँ जाना है?
झाड़ू पोछा करना है।
They claim to be from villages in Bengal, but the areas they identify with are all close to stretches vulnerable to human trafficking and infiltration along the Indo-Bangladesh border.
All right, so that report by Anvit clearly throws light on how that illegal immigration is happening, especially directed towards the state of West Bengal. But let's also bring you the data that's been published on the basis of the census reports of 1951 and 2011. This, of course, is about Jharkhand. It was said that in the year 1951, the population of tribals in Jharkhand stood at 36%, Sanatani Hindus at 87.9%, and Muslim population at 8.9%. Whereas in 2011, tribals became 26%, Muslims of course increased to 14.5%, and Sanatanis at 81.17%. That is the tribal population decreasing, the Sanatani population decreasing too, and the Muslim population of course increasing. Now, giving the statistics of the Santhal Pargana, the census data shows that the situation here has reached alarm bells. There's an alarming situation here, giving the statistics that existed back in the year 1951. It's been noted that the population of tribals in Santhal Pargana was 44.67%, of Muslims 9.44%, and others 45.9%, whereas in 2011 the population of tribals decreased to 28.11%, and the Muslim population increased to 22.73%. The population of others has increased to only 49.2%. At the same time, even the census data between 1951 up to 2011 shows a rise in Muslim population, especially in West Bengal. As per 1951 census data, the Muslim population in West Bengal stands at 19.46%, while in 2011 it increased to 27.01%. This shows a rise of 7.55% in Muslim population alone of West Bengal, roughly between the years 1951 and 2011. Now, there has been a rise in Muslim population in Santhal Parganas in Jharkhand as well. As per the 1951 census, the Muslim population in the area was 9.44%, while in 2011 it rose to 22.73%. This shows a rise of 13.29%. Why would the governments of West Bengal and Jharkhand not acknowledge the fact? And so, as far as Bangladeshi infiltration is concerned, this is the biggest expose from border demographic change. Is that now becoming a reality? That's a big question that we will be posing to our guests, but in just a bit.
यहाँ कोई डेमोग्राफी में बदलाव नहीं, सब अमन चैन से रह रहे हैं, खुशी अमन से रह रहे हैं। वैसे उनको संथल परगना में जो बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठी घुसकर अतिक्रमण करते हैं, कब्जा करते हैं, लैंड कब्जा लेते हैं, जिस पर तो हाईकोर्ट ने बोला है उस पर उनको कुछ नहीं बोलना, क्योंकि वोट बैंक का मामला है।
एक अपना मुख्यमंत्री का अपना अनुभव होगा राज्य के लिए। उन्होंने किस संदर्भ में कहा है मैं तो नहीं जानता, पर उन्होंने किसी को किसी से नाम लेके तो नहीं पुकारा, संगठन को तो कुछ नहीं कहा। उन्होंने कहा इस तरह कहावत जैसे कही जाती है कि चूहे कुतर देते हैं या करते हैं।
The BJP's view, that is the demography of the state of West Bengal has been disturbed by TMC as a political party or the ruling party. This is a acceptance, but along with the West Bengal, even in case of Jharkhand, the demographic changes are happening there.
All right, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Siddharth Yadav, who's the spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm also joined in by Mr. A.S. Deol, who's the spokesperson for the JMM. Ashwini Dubey, who's a senior advocate at the Supreme Court. Also joined in by Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhary, who's the editor at Blitz, which is a renowned Bangladeshi newspaper. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in. Mr. Deol, if I could begin with you. First of all, what prompted Mr. Hemant Soren to make that statement, especially asking everybody to go and check the data in West Bengal? Is that the official confirmation coming in from JNN that there is such infiltration taking place and there is a demographic change happening in West Bengal?
Thank you, Akansha, for having me. This is the first time I'm on your show. First of all, I'll raise an objection of the data you showed. You've just misinterpreted the whole data. Even I have the 2001. If you can pull it up, I can break it down for you how it works. See, it's very easy. I'll go by the affidavit filed by the Home Ministry in the Jharkhand High Court, and which they said like.
No, first of all, I want you to highlight every point that you've said that, you know, that's a major accusation that we've misinterpreted the data. Why would you say so?
I will start with the report you showed. In that it was clearly the Bangladeshi people are saying that the Hindus are being persecuted there, so they're crossing over. So I did not see any Muslim name coming up. They have come in. So the person said the Hindus are being persecuted in Bangladesh. So in CAA, the Hindus will be given citizenship. So there's no point of debating on that. The second point, I'll go by the data. Mr. Hemanta Biswa Sharma is CM of Assam. He's more in Jharkhand nowadays than in Assam, and he's basically he is contradicting himself. He was in Congress before, and from 2001 to 2011, I have this figure that the Assam population grew less than a decade before. So if there was increased infiltration in the last 10 years of the census, the data should have gone up. Similar is the case
yes,
with...
they all... I've asked you about...
Akansha,
the point is that the question that I posed was, what Hemant Soren has said, is that an acknowledgement of the way infiltration is taking place? A, B, the rise in demographic change in West Bengal per se. I'm just asking you about what your own Chief Minister of the state has said.
So my Chief Minister is saying is the point you are saying, the people are coming from Bangladesh. The first point is, the report you showed is a failure on the BSF and the central government. So you should actually say that line, that the Indian government has failed to protect our borders. But you are still continuing that there is a demographic change in
what
Bangladesh.
Is Bengal's data.
Go and see. I'm coming to the point.
See what is Bengal's data. Please explain. No, I'm allowing you. Please explain to me in all my humility. As an ignorant being over here, please explain to me what Mr. Hemant Soren means when he says go and see what is Bengal's data, then see the data of various districts in Jharkhand. I have quoted him verbatim.
So he is saying that all the infiltration is happening in Assam and Bangladesh and not in Jharkhand. And you should ask the BSF and the Home Ministry and the Defense Ministry about what is happening, why are our borders not being protected, and why are these people coming. In your report, did you show anyone of Jharkhand? You showed the report of the international borders, and you're asking us to clarify on that.
I don't think, Mr. Deol, you've paid attention to the census data that we just shared. So this is becoming a pointless discussion. We have just shared it with you. We have just. You want me to repeat and waste my airtime over here?
I have the data, Akansha. I have the data with me.
Then I'm sure you will agree that in Santhal Parganas itself, there's been a rise as far as Muslims are concerned. There's been a dip in the tribal population. What are you talking about? We just shared the data with you.
You are also eating.
All right, Siddharth Yadav, if I could begin with you now, because you've heard the kind of accusations that are coming in. There seems to be questioning of basic facts which don't seem to lie. But I'd like to bring you in. The big question that's being asked right now is that is about Assam, because Himanta Biswa Sarma is also being accused of not spending enough time in his own state and taking pot shots at Jharkhand, whereas Assam itself is dealing with the same problem.
No, Akansha, first of all, I think what largely has to be addressed is, we have to get to the core issue of this entire discussion. And the core issue is very, very clear with the statements made by the JMM spokesperson right now. If you do not acknowledge the problem, that can't be a solution. Now, the JMM or be it the Mamata government, they have just blindfolded themselves and turned their faces away because they do not want to acknowledge the problem. And that is happening at the cost of the tribal population. That is happening at the cost of the population of the diaspora of Jharkhand and West Bengal. Now, if infiltration is an issue, that has to be worked upon collectively by everybody. If populations are rising, and as the data clearly shows, we can't be disputing that.
No, but that is being disputed over here. Mr. Deol is disputing the data.
And Akansha, I don't find any reason for doing that. I do not find either he would present a data which counters this data or he has to agree to this data. But the problem is that he has no data which shows what the real picture probably he's trying to portray. This is the real picture of the state. There are demographic changes that are happening and the government has to accept to that, because the moment you start to solve the problem is once you accept that there is a problem. Now, if you want to turn a blind side and say there is no problem, then it is going to continue to happen at the cost. And now, Akansha, the larger problem also is that can't we not conclude that the governments and the administrations are also purposefully not acknowledging this demographic change and being a party to whatever this strategic these changes are happening. If the tribals are decreasing, if population of certain communities are increasing, and the chief minister says, we don't know, then probably he knows more and he is doing more. And the JMM or the Mamata government have to address to that. That is my point number one. When it comes down to Assam, I think, he also knows in his heart, the JMM spokesperson, that Assam is on a very right track of development. Himanta Biswa Sarma ji has brought in lot of changes in the state. Now he is commenting something on Jharkhand, or if he is commenting something on Hemant Soren, we are a democratic country. He has all the right to do so. Now you are, if that is such a big problem on you, you bring out something that is for Assam, but you don't have it.
All right.
Your entire, your own state
I think
is
Mr. Deol wants to make a
big
point.
problem,
We also
and you have
lost
to
his
address
audio.
it.
Mr. Deol, please go ahead. I also have a counter question. Right.
I'm not disputing your data. I'm just saying that you are just interpreting it wrong. You just showed
Their census data, Mr. Deol, is just facts. You cannot misinterpret facts. Now let me come to you. Let me pose a question about what you can accuse me, but I'm sure our viewer is smart enough to, in fact, interpret those facts and see facts and figures for themselves. But Mr. Deol, the Jharkhand High Court has categorically said that your government has denied that there's any infiltration taking place from Bangladesh, but you refuse to acknowledge, or in fact you've maintained a silence when it comes to the reduction of tribal population. Why isn't the JMM government able to explain why there's a reduction in the tribal population?
That's what I'm saying. You are misinterpreting it. I'll give you the absolute numbers. You know how much in
No, why aren't you just explain why there's a reduction in tribal population?
No, there's no reduction in tribal population. I'll tell you one thing. That in
you are disputing what the Jharkhand High Court has said. It's been acknowledged by the Jharkhand High Court that there's a reduction in tribal population.
Let them go
Let's
deep
not
into
veer
that.
away from the fact.
Let them go deep into that. I'll give you the absolute number. In last 10 years, 2001 to 2011, there was an increase of 360,000 tribals. There was an increase of 207,000 Muslims, and there's an increase of 938,000 Hindus. Do you say this is a decrease in tribal population? And your data which you were showing, that's more than 100%. A population can be only 100% of a place. It cannot be 140% what you are showing. Count the number of percentage, 36, 87, 88.9. How much is that? Is that 100%?
Ashwini Dubey,
The tribals belong to both Sanatanis and maybe Muslims, because they have given in the report that they have converted into Muslims. So tell me which part of how much Hindus are there and how much tribals are there in 87.9%.
but then your government is the
You
first
don't
one
have
to
an
appease.
exact
Why
figure
isn't
because
there?
earlier
No.
in
There
earlier
is
census,
corruption.
the tribals were counted under Hindus, but
There
no
is
longer.
corruption on the ground level. How are they able to come up with Indian identities is a question everybody is asking.
Yeah, one
Why
second. Yeah,
is rampant conversion being permitted? All of those questions. And Ashwini Dubey, the court has made it amply clear as far as the Jharkhand High Court is concerned that there is a silence being maintained by the JMM government. They are not able to explain why there's been a reduction in the tribal population. So just to say that yes, there is infiltration happening, but we will not tell you why there's a reduction, there's no infiltration happening and there is no reduction of tribal population. What kind of an approach is that?
The political interests are more important and paramount than the national interest. In entire country, it is not the Jharkhand High Court. Even if you remember when Honorable Justice Gogoi was the Chief Justice of India at that point of time, the detain, detect and deport the Bangladeshis from India, the petition was pending. Even at that point of time, this issue was largely discussed. In entire country, be it small places or big cities, even the remote areas of the Jharkhand, demographic changes can be easily felt and seen. Our agency says that there's serious threat to the country, but a person whose responsibility is to ensure the law and order, to ensure the citizens of this country may be given priority over the illegal infiltrators or immigrants. They are not speaking. That shows that how reluctant they are about the national interest and national security. The large-scale illegal migrants, particularly from Bangladesh, have not only threatened the demographic structure of bordering districts, but entire country and seriously impaired the security and national integration. There is a need for expeditious identification of those illegal immigrants. Right. And they has to be dealt with and sent back. In Law Commission, not only this, we are talking about today. You remember 21st September 2000, 175th Law Commission report on Foreigners Amendment Bill has dealt with this issue. They have said that the illegal immigrants from Bangladesh and Myanmar are changing drastically the demography of this country. 24 years have passed since then. It is the collective and joint responsibility of each and every government and government agencies to ensure that the safe places to be given to the citizens rather than those who are coming by paying 10,000, 50,000. The visuals and the story which you have just showed before this program, that is an eye-opener. How for 10,000, 15,000 rupees they are being sent to this country.
But Ashwini Dubey, I don't think it is an eye-opener for those who don't even wish to open their eyes at all. Let me quickly bring in Mr. Chaudhary. First of all, thank you for so patiently awaiting your turn, Mr. Chaudhary. We've seen how Bangladesh has lodged its protest with India with regards to what the Honorable Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, had to say about this entire issue and the problem. But just lodging a protest, is that going to be enough? Because the buck stops at how effectively can both the governments tackle such a menace, and it is equally an onus upon the Bangladeshi government to run rehabilitation programs.
Thank you very much. Before I answer to your question, Akanksha ji, regarding these infiltrators, the migration floodgate, you may know and you should know that they are not just simply that going to India in search of jobs. They are entering India from Myanmar. 9 million Rohingyas have already entered Bharat, India. I have the specific information. And every day, thousands of people are now, especially after 5th of August, thousands of people are entering India because their agenda is to implement Ghazwa-e-Hind. They want to break India. And it is not a question for any political party to debate on the number of the infiltrators or modus operandi, but this is a national threat to India. They pose a national threat to India. And if you quickly understand, sooner you understand is better for your country, they want to break India. Now, as you are talking about the two governments, one in Dhaka and the Delhi, I mean, how you can interact with a government in Dhaka, which is filled with the Islamists, influenced by the Islamists, which claims itself to be a revolutionary Islamist government, and it is dictated by all India element. Even today, I was seeing with surprise that a PNP leader has published a photograph of a Hindu priest and calling upon people to enter India and to kill him. Because he made some, according to him, offensive remarks on the Prophet. So you can understand they are already entering India with an agenda.
Right.
You cannot, Akankshaji, expect amicable settlement or resolution of this crisis when you have a government sitting in Dhaka which hates India.
Mr. Chaudhary, thank you for calling a spade a spade. And on that note, Mr. Deol, what else do you need? A leading journalist from Bangladesh himself has acknowledged, he's just acknowledged that infiltration is an open secret. And yet you begin or continue to, in fact, negate the data. But that's why I want to bring to you what the Assam High Court has said in one of the orders recently issued. It says some political parties have been encouraging and even helping illegal migration with a view to building vote banks. Tell me something. The popular opinion that is now arriving is that in opposition ruled states, whether it is West Bengal, whether it is Jharkhand, and now in Himachal itself, we've seen how the government has gone on record to acknowledge that Jamaat members are coming and becoming a menace to the state of Himachal Pradesh as well. Would you not agree that there seems to be some appeasement effort coming in from these opposition ruled states? Why won't they take adequate action? Do you have the face to in fact say that we will not implement CAA, we will not implement NRC? Right at the beginning of the show, you said that what is the harm if they will be given citizenship under CAA, all those Hindu immigrants who are entering?
You are against giving, because CAA is an act in India, and giving citizenship to Hindus is according to the act. So you are against that also? I was just saying that because Hindus coming in India is okay.
Fair enough. Then why should
one sec.
or even TMC go on to say that we will not implement CAA or NRC?
First of all, you should have started the show and accused BJP of being a failure in protecting our borders. But not a single word has come. Our friend from BJP spoke that the infiltration problem in in West Bengal and Jharkhand is an issue because it's an opposition ruled state. But in Assam, Himanta Vishwas has come up with some magic wand. So there is not an issue, which has the highest number of infiltrators. Let me be very clear on one thing. A single foreign person in our borders without proper authorization is a harm on this country. And
just a small correction over there. Himanta Biswa Sarma is coming out with a white paper next year between April and June. He has made that commitment. And if he is coming up with a white paper, why can't governments from Jharkhand or West Bengal acknowledge and work on the menace?
Why can't he wait till June next year for Jharkhand? Because Jharkhand has elections now, so he wants an answer now. Is that it? Is that what you are suggesting?
No, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm asking questions, and I'm going to take that question from Siddharth Yadav as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. One more question to our friend. I'll tell you one thing. I am saying that I am against any foreigner entering our borders and compromising our sovereignty without papers. But it should start with the borders, not with the states, because right to freedom of movement allows anybody, nobody can challenge at the border of the state between
All right, I'm running short of time,
West Bengal and Jharkhand to stop some person.
I'd like to bring you in. Just to clarify, yes, that white paper has been committed as far as the demographic change at polling booths is concerned. But the big question arises, why is the Indo-Bangladesh border as porous when you look at the west part of our country, that's not as porous. This menace is also happening because of lack of adequate border control.
Akanksha, definitely I wish to highlight two things. One aspect is the borders being porous. We know how it has been over the years. Every day infrastructure is being added on that borders. Geographical areas do, pose difficulties for that. But our forces and everybody, tries to keep a check that the borders should be less and less porous and no such infiltration happens. But this is one aspect. Why JMM, why the Jharkhand government and why Bengal government should answer is because when such infiltration happens, despite all the efforts, why are the governments so comfortable in handing out any document, giving them PAN cards, giving them Aadhaar cards, making them comfortable, not speaking against them, not ensuring that any action is taken on them? Why is that? What is that agenda? That is the question that I'm asking. Why is it that we see fake PAN cards, fake Aadhaar cards being issued by the state governments, fake identification cards being issued by the state governments? If that is an issue, if strategically state governments are trying to promote a demographical change in their state for reasons which are best known to them, I think that is also an issue that has to be addressed. And my friend from JMM is not speaking a word on that. That is the core issue, sir. Your government is sitting not acknowledging the problem.
Mr. Deol, I give you 30 seconds.
And supporting the problem. That's point number 2.
Mr. Deol.
So, there are incidents when we have caught people who have Aadhaar cards issued from UP Bareilly under the rulership of Aditya Yogi Nath. They are getting it from the UP. Maximum whatever cards have been caught are made from UP, BJP controlled government. So why can't
facts,
they
sir. Please
start
speak for
from
your
there?
state.
No. I'm talking about my state where cards issued from UP have come. So please go and correct your facts.
All right, let me quickly, in fact, end with Ashwini Dubey's thoughts. Ashwini Dubey, UIDAI has, in fact, gone on record to say that it may present a unique identity, the Aadhaar card, but it should not be considered as a basis for citizenship. What is the solution? We have loopholes like the Danpatra. In July itself, we've seen an altercation between the tribal family and Muslim family because they were grabbing land through a loophole or a procedure like the Danpatra. I'd like your thoughts.
This is what the responsibility of state governments lies. This is what the state governments must ensure. Who in the district level, the law and order is with the state government. Though maybe the citizenship, maybe the country's issue and the national central agencies has to take action as per this. But ultimately, who has to detain, who has to detect, the responsibility lies the state governments in Jharkhand. Why we are talking about Jharkhand? Because the Honorable High Court, a constitutional court has acknowledged this, that look, this is happening here. The demographic is being changed. Women are being lured. Women are being converted. Women are being victimized. So why we can't, how can we close our eyes? Now, two things. West Bengal is being used by illegal immigrants as a safe corridor. There are 3 migrants. Those who come with the valid visa and stay, Shaheen Bagh we can see. Those who come with the forged visa documents and then again stay. Those who enter with a fake identity, and state governments does not acknowledge it. Despite agencies are saying they are threat. So where?
I'm afraid I'm running short of time. I'll have to leave it at that. It's high time that state governments, in fact, sit up and take notice of the situation, because remember, it is illegal immigration that's leading to crimes like robbery, trafficking of women and children, and even theft as well. Many thanks to you all for joining in on that discussion, but it's time for a quick break. Coming up after that quick break, the Tirumala temple is now turning into a battlefield as Jagan Mohan Reddy is planning to visit the temple tomorrow, but there are clauses to it. Can the temple visit prove faith? That's a question we'll be debating in just a bit.